Welcome back to Beyond the Stats. Got me and Roman here to discuss Week 8 NFL season right now. Thursday Night Football, Bills and Bucks are playing right now while we record this.
Yeah, Bills are taking it to the Bucks. They're up by 2 touchdowns. So.
That's not surprising.
No, I expected it. Bucks have been a little bit of a surprise this year, but Josh Allen has his 1 turnover already. We'll see if he has more.
Yep. Kind of what we expect there. Something that's interesting is I'm curious to see how that Bucks team over the next couple of years, because it seems like Baker Mayfield's found a home.
It does. It's interesting. I saw an article today saying that the Bucks should trade for Derrick Henry.
Oh.
Because Rachaad White is averaging like
he's
3 yards, 2.9 yards. Like, it's bad. He's like the worst running back in the NFL right now.
Right. And the Titans are actively shopping Derrick Henry right now.
They're shopping a lot of people.
Finally going to blow things up?
I don't know, because
they're not that good.
No, but they're not that bad. And I don't see Vrabel just tearing it down.
Right.
They're going to start Will Levis this week, so it'll be nice to see him on the field. I'm a big fan of his.
Okay.
But they definitely got rid of one of their mainstays in PR this week, so.
For nothing.
For absolutely nothing. So Derrick Henry could be gone. There's talks that Hopkins is gone, so.
Yeah, they're one of those teams that you just kind of stay at mediocrity because you don't commit to a rebuild, but you don't have the players to really develop, and no one wants to go there.
Well, and they don't need a full rebuild because they have, Levis is a second-year pro. They drafted, the receiver last year? What's his name? Treylon Burks. If he stays in shape. They have Jeffrey Simmons, who's a stud.
Right.
Bud Dupree on defense as well. They've drafted some young corners. It's just the offense needs to be rebuilt.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But anyway, Bills game kind of going how we thought.
Yeah, pretty much.
Moving into Sunday, the early games, Texans-Panthers. See the two rookies up against each other.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud's looked pretty good this year, in my opinion.
Dude, he's balling. The Texans are surprising me because I thought they'd rely on Dameon Pierce more. He's not having a good season compared to last year.
No.
But Stroud and that receiver group,
dude,
Nico Collins,
Tank Dell,
dude,
they look good.
They look pretty solid.
That's a future. That's a young future, man.
Yeah, and DeMeco Ryans will get that defense on point.
Right. I've been super surprised with CJ Stroud the way he's come out. How do you feel about Bryce Young so far?
I really like Bryce Young. They've already taken away play calling duties away from Frank Reich in Carolina.
That's good.
I thought he was a terrible hire as a head coach. I wasn't a fan of his for what he did in Indy the last few years.
Yeah.
And I think they need a different coach. I think it's going to be similar to Urban Meyer, that he's gone.
Yeah.
Like Frank Reich was a placeholder for a year while they found someone better.
No, that makes sense. And CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, he's a guy I think that he's kind of what you expect to see out of a rookie quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some really exciting plays that he's made, and then he's got some plays that very bad young mistakes.
Yeah, and that team needs a lot of work.
It really does.
But, I like Bryce Young as a quarterback. I think he's talented. It's just that team's bad. I don't think the head coach is very good. So,
and they've gotten rid of any of their good players.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, that team, like, they have Brian Burns, who's a monster, talking about getting traded. Derek Brown and Jeremy Chin.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Chin, they said, is supposedly available. So Chin could be traded this week. Talks about Burns being traded to a contender.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. They had a young superstar running back and traded him. So,
right.
yeah, I don't really know what they do there. Hopefully, they bring in a good coach next season to give and some options, some weapons to give Bryce Young some help.
Yeah, he doesn't have much right now. I think it's well his best receiver is a rookie. After that, it's Laviska Chenault, I think, or Terrace Marshall.
Isn't DJ Shark there?
Maybe
I think he's in. It shows you how much I've paid attention to
he
Carolina this year. I think he's there.
he
I
could
think he's
be.
technically the number one.
Okay. I mean, to me, the number one is Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah,
He's second round pick out of Ole Miss. Built very similar. He's like a hybrid almost between AJ Brown and Metcalfe's more similar to AJ Brown,
right.
but 6'2", 220, runs a 4.4. He is going to be their playmaker. They're just trying to bring him along. But after that, I look at their receivers.
It's rough.
Like DJ Chark's on the team, maybe.
Yeah, that's kind of how that team is right now. So with the way CJ Stroud and the Texans offense has been, I would be shocked if the Panthers won that game.
I would be surprised. There's a reason that they are 0 on the season.
Yeah, are they defeated?
Yeah.
Yikes! I didn't realize they were defeated.
I don't know if they can win a game this year. I think there's going to be some games where Bryce Young makes it close.
And this is one of those games where maybe CJ Stroud looks like a rookie quarterback and they kind of sneak out a win, right? But they're very far between each other. Those opportunities this year for them.
Yeah. The Texans are a much better built team.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Rams Cowboys.
Puka gonna go off?
Dude, yes. He is just like gonna crush numbers, I feel like. Even with Cooper Kupp back the past couple of weeks, he's still putting up 10, 11, 12 targets a game.
Yeah, and the Cowboys are a defense. They're interesting because they lost their corner Diggs.
Yeah.
They still have Gilmore. And then they got Micah Parsons.
Right.
Everything in between is kind of they got DeMarcus Lawrence. So their pass rush is really good. And they still have Gilmore, who's towards the end of his career. But if Gilmore's going to cover Cooper Kupp all day or most of the day, Puka could go off for a huge game.
Dude, which would be great. It would be great for me.
Yeah.
I could use that.
I could use that. My fantasy team is awful.
Yeah, yours is rough.
It's been a rough year.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happened. It usually doesn't happen, but it's been a rough year.
So it's kind of a weird year for fantasy, I think, on like running backs. It was like there was like two that you could count on, and after that, it was just kind of a toss of a coin on which one should you actually draft. We also have a 14-man league,
and I picked 12, so I didn't have a great starting.
Yeah, having 14 mans, in my opinion, too much. It makes it so hard.
It makes it hard, and like every time I went to draft a player, it was like, nope, person right before me took him.
Yeah, it was rough. I was also drafting on a plane coming back from vacation. So
you were coming back from Europe. So
I was like, I was flying over, I think, like New York at the time.
Yeah,
and somebody had like heart issues right in the seat next to me while I'm trying to
draft. And you ignored him. He could have died.
There was EMTs. So I give myself a pass for my season. You have just sucked.
Hey, I had the second most points in the league last week.
That's true.
I'm a busy man. I haven't had much time to look at fantasy this year.
But I've got some good credit. I think 3 of the last 4 years I've been top 2 in scoring.
That's fair. I've been first in points against the last couple of years.
And my wife is like second in scoring this year. So it really doesn't matter if I suck. If she does well, we still get the money.
Yeah, that's true.
But speaking of fantasy football and the Cowboys, that's another offense that I thought was going to be better. Tony Pollard, who kind of got the keys this year. I think I was looking at it. he's either had 1 or 0 100-yard games this season. He's been super active in the passing game. He's had a lot of targets each week for the most part, but as a runner, he's not been that good. They haven't really committed to that either. And so,
See, and I actually thought that the offense would be better, not from the standpoint that they would put up more yards, but I thought that they would be more balanced. So
yes.
Kellen Moore was very heavy pass.
Yes.
And McCarthy, I thought, might bring some balance back, but I do not have I don't respect McCarthy as a coach.
Fair.
I don't think that he's good. All the talk of him sleeping in meetings when he was in Green Bay, not showing up to meetings, and then when he got the Dallas job, telling Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones he watched every game the year before, and then getting to his press conference when he's being announced and saying, well, I said what I had to say to get the job. So he's a guy I really don't hold in high regard, but I thought he would at least bring some balance to help the team out. And I don't know. The Cowboys offense just isn't great.
It's not. And that's the thing is, like you said, with the balance, Tony Pollard's not really getting a crazy amount of carries each week.
No, the offense just doesn't seem to be doing much. Like CeeDee Lamb has not put up numbers like last year.
How long, if the offense continues to be meh, how many seasons or season or what would you give them to keep going through Dak?
At least one more. I think he gets one more chance no matter what. I think that they fire McCarthy before him.
It's fair. I think my dog just threw up in the other room.
Doors closed. Not our problem right now. But yeah, that'll be an interesting game. I mean, if the pass rush gets to Stafford, they don't have a running game to fall back on.
No, especially who's running for them right now.
They brought back, I want to say Darrell Henderson and Damian Williams.
Okay.
Who have been with the team a couple of times. They were on the Super Bowl team. So.
Yeah, because Kyron's out for a couple of weeks, right? He was put on IR, right?
Yeah, he's at least on short-term IR.
Yeah, so that game's really going to come down to the Rams passing game on who wins that game, in my opinion.
100%. Yeah, I can see that.
But moving on to Vikings-Packers. Saw an interesting stat this week, I think. Kirk Cousins is like second in the league in passing yards or something like that.
He's second, and
it's something like that.
He's top 5 to 10 in every category.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins isn't a bad quarterback, and he gets a lot of flack for being basic, I guess.
Right.
Like, he's not flashy, not vocal. He's not going to go do something spectacular, but he's consistent.
Right, and been impressed with Jordan Addison.
Yeah, Jordan Addison is a stud.
Jay Jettis went down, and Addison seemed to just step right into that role and looked good.
Yeah.
Which is exciting for that team, for their future, with those two guys next to each other.
Yeah, and they still have KJ Osborne, who I'm a big fan of because he, transferred to Miami his last year of college from Buffalo. They still got Hawkinson. Madison is
not good. He's not that good.
No, I didn't think he would be. There's been rumors Dalvin Cook could be traded back to Minnesota,
which would be weird.
And
it's not like Dalvin Cook's been any good either, though.
Yeah, he's done nothing.
He's looked bad himself. So
I don't know. Kirk Cousins could go off. The Packers have a great defensive team. And the Vikings defense is not. So it's like a tale of strengths right here. I mean, Vikings offense is good. Packers defense. Well, Packers offense is not that good. The Vikings defense is bad.
The Packers offense has been fine in the second half of games.
LaFleur's got to figure it out.
So if they could actually come in and look well, I saw a meme that was talking about if the Packers could start a game not being afraid of their own shadow on offense, then they might win some games.
Well, and honestly, this is a great game for them to figure it out. They're at home. Vikings defense is not good.
They just lost to a really bad team.
They just lost to a bad. Like the Packers could legitimately come around this week and score like 32 points.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
They may lose 32-35, or they may win 28-32. But
right,
I'm putting them at 30 points this week.
Sorry. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me, especially playing the Vikings. But Colts Saints.
It'll be a good game for
sure. Do you think this is the week that Jonathan Taylor really kind of takes over the majority of carries and stuff?
I don't see him going over 18. Maybe 20 max.
Last week they did 18 and 18 split.
Yeah.
Between Zach Moss and him.
I
Jonathan Taylor was way
more effective.
Way more efficient with it.
But Moss has done a lot of good things. I think that if I'm the Colts, I'm aiming for 20 to 25 touches out of Taylor and 10 to 15 out of Moss every game.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is you can have your carries pretty split with how Jonathan Taylor's way more involved in the passing game.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can get that 20. It's kind of like the old Christian McCaffrey thing. You want to get him 25 touches.
Doesn't need to be 25
Doesn't need to be 25 carries.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Saints, Derek Carr going there has been great for Kamara. Yeah. That seems to be their offense is 5-yard passes to Alvin Kamara, and like Alvin Kamara just try to figure it out at that point.
And I don't get it because they have Shaheed, who I really like. He's a explosive kid.
Yeah.
Olave's good. Michael Thomas is a worst case scenario possession receiver.
That's the thing is he's come back and not been anything special.
Right.
Whereas struggled. I feel like every time before he'd come back he'd like be hurt for a season, then come back and have like a crazy good season. And
yeah, and maybe some of it was Drew Brees throwing them the ball 150 times a year.
And that helps.
It does. So, I mean, Juwan Johnson, their tight end's supposed to be back this week. Maybe that helps the run game a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm taking the Saints in this game. The Colts defense hasn't been great. Their offense is better with Minshew, but Taylor getting healthy has helped as well.
And how long can Minshew mania actually last?
Right. I mean, he's so up and down. So I see this. I would actually play. If the Colts commit to passing, Saints defense is a great play this week.
Yeah.
If they stay balanced, it'll be a close game.
I could see that. I'd be shocked if they didn't stay balanced, where last week they had almost 40 carries between their 3 running backs. And so that would surprise me, but
I still take Saints.
I take the Saints too. The Saints are a better team.
Yeah. They could keep it really close if it's balanced. If they start leaning on the passing game too much, Saints could blow them out.
Yeah. Yep. But next up, we got Patriots and your Dolphins.
That's right. Patriots are going down hard. Mac Jones is going to go cry to his dad, Tom Brady.
No gritties this week?
No. he might get one. Jalen Ramsey's
cleared, right?
He's been practicing. There's reports saying he's going to play.
He came
out and called out those reports and said, hold your horses.
I saw something today talking about Jalen Ramsey.
He's going to play. It's just how much. But getting Xavier Howard, getting Ramsey back, if Holland clears concussion protocol, David Long at linebacker, they're all back. We'll actually have our whole starting defense for the first time this year.
Right.
We haven't had all our starters play.
And this would be a good game for them to all kind of come back and kind of try to get into
Yeah, I
a
mean,
rhythm.
we could make Mac Jones go for like 5 for 27 and 2 interceptions and a fumble, and crying on the
Could be a
sideline.
great game.
Yeah, it's a great game for us to come back.
I'd be shocked if you guys don't blow them out, though. It, the,
The de-
especially with what happened last week, I feel like the Dolphins are going to come out with a point to make.
yeah, the one thing that worries me is the first time we played the Patriots, Belichick did a 3 safety defense on them.
Yep.
So they had 3 safeties sitting back at 20 yards, covering thirds, and then they just said run on us, which is fine.
Well, you don't have A-Chain.
We don't have A-Chain. Mostert is a little banged up right now. He's got some minor injuries. He can carry the load. I don't understand why. I mean, Miami is so much 20 yards, 0 yards, 20 yards, 0 yard passes. Like, it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just run those short patterns all day long.
That's the thing is if they end up just running 3 deep with the explosion that's on that team, there's no reason not to be running, slants,
screens
yeah,
all day.
all of that. And Jeff Wilson's back, right?
Jeff Wilson's back.
Which could help Mostert out
Yeah.
if you end up being a little bit more run heavy.
Right. We're actually starting to run into it to where we have more players on short-term IR and players that are already spoken for to come off of short-term IR.
Yeah.
That we're going to have somebody left out. So, like, Craycraft is designated to return. Ramsey's designated to return. We have 9 players on IR.
Oh, wow.
And we can only pull back 8. So somebody's not going to make it.
Interesting. Jeez.
Yeah. And, yeah. So it'll be interesting. But there's no way there is a way we lose to the Patriots, but there's no way we should lose to the Patriots.
Yeah. I feel like there's too much of the Dolphins just have a point to really make this week.
And our defense wasn't fully healthy the first time we played. So having our defense healthy, even if Ramsey's shaking off the rust,
right,
there's no way we don't just destroy New England.
Yeah. I would be shocked to see it go any other way.
Yeah. I mean, to see anything over like 35-14 would surprise me.
I would agree. I expect a blowout. I would bet on a blowout.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a 2-touchdown game at least, if not 3.
Yeah. But up next, Jets Giants.
Whew.
Man, I really said that a lot more exciting than the game's going to be. I heard Rodgers talking this week was talking about how his ultimate goal and what he's on pace for is to return in this season.
Yeah, he's been talking January.
Which is wild.
Dude, it's that new surgery. It'll be interesting. He's one of the first people to do it. I know there was someone else, Akers, I think. Cam Akers had this same surgery. He came back in like 9 months. He's trying to beat it where he doesn't have to sprint as much. But
Cam Akers has also been bad.
Cam Akers has been bad. But this is not an exciting game.
It's not.
I really want the Giants to be good, to be better. And I want them to win.
Same.
I don't think they will, but I want them to so badly. Like,
I could see that. Here's my thing. I could see them coming out and winning this game because, like,
what's holding them back?
Is it
just Daniel Jones?
That's what I was going to say. Is it Daniel Jones or is it the receiver room?
I don't know, because their line, even though they have 2 first-round picks in Andrew Thomas and Evan Neal, Evan Neal's been bad, which he was a great tackle at Alabama.
Yeah.
Thomas has been good. Daniel Bellinger's was a 3rd-round pick last year at tight end. They got Darren Waller. They have Darius Slayton. They have Wan'Dale Robinson. It's just like that. I feel like they need someone at receiver that is a possession guy. They
Yeah.
need somebody like
I just feel like that's my thing. Is I don't feel like I think Daniel Jones' biggest problem right now is he doesn't really have a guy that when he's struggling, he can just rely on to just get the ball to that guy.
yeah. And Hodges was that guy last year, and I like Hodges. 6'4" kid, great possession receiver, but he's been invisible this year. And
Yeah.
he's not a great receiver. I mean, I really like the guy, but he's a great third guy.
Yeah.
So if they had an alpha on that team, if they had Hopkins, if they had
You know,
somebody like that,
and that's the thing that could be super interesting. They're what, 1-5, 2-5.
2-5.
They're a team that could be competing for a top 5 pick, and um, if they could have if they have a chance at Marvin Harrison Jr., I
You
think
go
they
for it.
have to go for it because I think that's what that team's missing. I don't Daniel Jones, he's not great, but maybe you bring in a guy like that and it gives him a chance to, all of a sudden maybe he looks better. And if he doesn't,
And
then you
so
move on.
here's the problem. If you look at their division, they're still in the playoff race.
Really?
Yeah. Like there's a real chance they can still
Well, I
win
guess we're
their
only
division.
7 weeks in.
2-5, they can still win.
Yeah.
They can make the playoffs with a losing record in that division.
Yeah.
So
But how many more actual winnable games are there?
they got one this week if they decide to not get destroyed by the Jets defense.
Yeah.
Which is unlikely, but I mean, right now you're a team, you've committed to your quarterback, committed to your running back. Wandell's coming back from an ACL tear.
Right.
He tore it last year. He's been brought on slowly. They're giving him rest days during the week. Do you go get a guy like Hopkins, veteran receiver, lead that receiver room, and see if that's what you kind of need to make that jump?
Dude, I don't know. I honestly, Marvin Harrison intrigues me so much with that kind of team to where he can come in and step in and be the alpha immediately. I mean, most teams he's going to be that are going to draft him at that spot. But intrigues me so much to where it's like I almost wouldn't want to go do something like that.
But will he make it to them? The Panthers are going to pick ahead of him.
And the Panthers
They
probably are picking a receiver.
No receivers.
I guess that's the thing. Panthers are definitely not picking a quarterback.
No. Cardinals are going to pick for them. Well, depending what happens, but Cardinals are worse than them right now. So, I mean, Bears could possibly be up there. Depends how the season goes. Raiders,
Broncos. And I could see us drafting a receiver.
You could use a receiver, but
I could also see us not drafting a receiver.
I mean, Titans, it depends how hard they decide to go in the rebuild.
True. I don't know. It really intrigues me with getting somebody
The Patriots
in that. Yeah,
but the Patriots will probably pick like some Division 3, line cook that works in the cafeteria that Bill Belichick saw kick a field goal.
Yeah, that makes sense. That adds up.
He can play tight end.
You think about it, that makes sense.
He's the next Rob Gronkowski.
So, I don't know. Like I said, I'd like to see. I don't necessarily think Daniel Jones is the problem. I think paying him as much as they did is the problem.
They paid him a bit much, but
when he hadn't really shown that he was worth that.
He hadn't shown he was worth it, but the problem is like you just paid your right tackle or your tackle Thomas a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
You drafted Evan Neal in the first round last year. Saquon wants to get paid. If you want to make a run with all your pieces, now's the best time.
I guess that's true. And Saquon has come out and said he wants to stay.
So make him happy. Go get a receiver. Go get someone. I mean, even somebody like Tyler Lockett, who could be replaced by Jackson Smith Nabig, however the hell you say his damn name. Najigba. You say Nabigja.
JSN.
JSN.
Just
Yeah,
leave it JSN.
that guy.
Yeah, but does Tyler Lockett give them a guy he can actually rely on?
More than what he has.
That's fair. That's
I mean,
fair.
hell,
Which I guess circles you right back around to just doing the D Hop trade that you mentioned.
yeah, I think, and the problem I've seen is they're talking a second rounder for DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins is
Not
a Hall of
anymore.
Famer, but I don't know if he's worth that.
Not
right now.
anymore.
Maybe for the locker room. You know, you got young receivers. Slayton's been in the league for a while, but he's only like 26. Wandell's in his second year. You bring in a guy like D-Hop who can kind of mentor those guys and also give you a reliable number one option.
Gives you a real chance to see if maybe Daniel Jones is the problem or not.
Yeah, it would give you a legit shot. And the nice thing is Hopkins is only, what, a year? Maybe 2 at most.
Yeah.
And so gives you a real option to where you can test out the rest of the season. Maybe you make a run. Maybe go into next season, see how things go. And if, it's not working, after next year, Hopkins and Daniel Jones are both gone.
That's fair. I gotta be honest, for some reason I feel like the Giants win this game.
I want them to, but I don't know.
I think they come out and win this game and Saquon has a huge game.
I hate the New York Jets, but they have a top 10 defense.
That's true.
That's what worries me about this game is Daniel Jones.
You can always rely on Zach Wilson throwing 3 or 4 picks.
Not lately. Not
You're
every
right. They
not
don't give
every game.
You're right. They don't give him the chance to do it. They just give the ball to Breece Hall 35 times.
Because Breece Hall is a monster. Breece Hall
and Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, and Dalvin Cook. That was kind of what frustrated me about the Dalvin Cook signing is I understand Breece Hall was coming back from a torn ACL, but they had Michael Carter on is their number 2 back.
Yeah.
Like
Dalvin Cook felt like a pleasing Aaron Rodgers signing.
For sure. Similar to Randall Cobb and Alan Lazard. Those guys aren't playing.
They suck. They tried to make Alan Lazard a freaking good receiver. It didn't work out.
No.
He got replaced by 2 rookies real quick.
Yeah. And Lazard is a great team guy. And Cobb could be. Cobb was a great receiver.
Cobb's a great team guy.
Yeah, in Green Bay, he's a great mentor.
But you can only have so many great team guys.
You can only have so many great team guys, mentors, like aged veterans.
At some point, those great team guys also need to be great players.
At some point, those guys aren't worth $10 million a year anymore, and they've got to go.
Yeah. No, but I don't know. Like I said, I've got a weird feeling about the Giants, but I also sucked on all my stuff last week. So
maybe Isaiah Hodges shows back up because he had 40.
Saquon goes for 150 yards from scrimmage.
Keep an eye on Wandell.
Okay.
He's a little guy. He's 5'8", but he's explosive.
That's fair. Steelers, Jaguars. The Steelers are somehow 4-2.
I hate those guys.
Do you hate everyone?
No.
I think he hates everyone.
Oh, I hate a lot of teams. The Steelers were so good for so long, but I never thought that they were worth all of the talk.
I mean, they won how many Super Bowls?
With Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
And Roethlisberger is underrated. But the Steelers are a solid team. Tomlin's a great coach. But I think they lose.
Oh, yeah. The Jaguars have been pretty good.
Yeah.
They've had some hiccups. Their offense has been kind of hit and miss, but I like that Jaguars team.
That team is put together nicely, except for the line. Their line is terrible, but their receiving group is loaded.
Yeah. What's been weird to me is Christian Kirk the number 1 on that team?
Sometimes. So the way I look at their receiver groups is I don't feel like they have a 1. They have a bunch of 1Bs.
Because the whole thing was Calvin Ridley was going to come in and be the stud in week 1, week 2. He was, and now all of a sudden it's been like, oh, Christian Kirk and Trevor Lawrence just connect.
Yeah,
and that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, and I honestly look at those guys. Neither one is like a true number 1.
No,
but they're both really, really good number 2.
Calvin Ridley could be.
He's 28.
Well, like 2 years ago, he could be.
The dude came out of he was like 22 when he came out of college. He's the same age as Amari Cooper.
Which is wild because I feel like that dude's been in the league for like 30 years.
It's because Calvin Ridley, coming out of high school, had to go to like a military academy or something for a year. Like something happened before he could go to Alabama to where he had to take a year somewhere else
That's fair.
because of
That's
what
fair.
happened in high school. But Calvin Ridley, he's a very good receiver.
Yeah.
He's an 80 catch a year guy.
But he's not.
Christian Kirk's also an 80 catch a year guy. And your running back's a 50 catch a year running back.
Yeah.
And Evan Ingram in that offense is a 50 catch a year tight end. And Marvin Jones is a 50 catch a year receiver. So like you
just don't have the
got a great group.
Yeah.
So
no, for sure. You know who, speaking about things that have been good for that team, you know who's been super disappointing? Freaking Tank Bigsby.
What did you expect of him?
To at least touch the ball. You know, get it on the 2-yard line and freaking just power it in there.
Yeah.
Does he have a touchdown? Does he have more than 10 carries on the season?
I don't know. I haven't
Dude,
paid attention to him at all.
I drafted him. It was like a last round pick as a flyer. But I thought he'd be at least kind of like that Jamal Williams role for the Lions last year, where it's just strictly because freaking Etienne's not.
He's not a power back at all. No.
And so I thought they'd have a good little bit of balance. But man, they try to give a little bit of a chance to him in like the preseason in week 1, and he just sucked so bad. And I think they feel that way too because he's barely on the field.
Yeah. I don't know.
Which has made Travis Etienne a star for them this year because no one else.
Well, and I'm trying to think back. Doug Marrone, I don't remember him using his backups a lot. Like they get on the field, they play passing situations, maybe a carry
I just felt I don't know. The talk was, and I felt like the way Etienne was last year, he was solid, but he could really use a power guy behind him to, spell him and 70-30 split kind of things like that. Yeah. And it feels like it's been like 95-5.
Well, and you got to remember, Etienne came off the foot injury that took out his rookie year,
right?
But I think Bigsby will get more as the season goes along. Like at some point, they're going to look at Etienne and be like, all right, he's starting to get some minor injuries. Let's give Bigsby a few carries during the game to kind of spell him a little bit.
Dude, I think the problem is that like they tried to do that in week 1, and seriously, dude, I'm pretty sure he like had a fumble and a drop within 2 plays. It was so bad.
It's gonna happen. But yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I've got Jaguars winning that game.
I think so.
Falcons, Titans. When we've talked all about how the Titans are kind of blowing things up, and
they're starting Will Levis, which I want to watch because I like Will Levis, but
you won't be watching though. You'll be watching the Dolphins.
No, Dolphins play early.
This is still early.
Holy shit.
There's like 2 afternoon games.
I forgot. They like made it to where there's no afternoon games anymore.
Which is great being a Broncos fan because we play all of our games in the afternoon. And so I get to watch all the games in the morning and then be miserable.
Yeah, but like I lived in California last year, so it was like all of them were at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Which is so early.
It is when you're trying to do stuff in the morning before football starts.
But yeah, Desmond Ridder, I think puts together another solid week.
I think so.
It once again just needs to cut down on his freaking turnovers. He's not throwing picks; he's fumbling, and so
cut down the turnovers. And how about Bijan gets some carries?
Is not dealing with some made-up sickness that they decided to announce after the game.
Hey, his tummy hurt. Okay?
Dude, I mean, I guess if you don't want to be putting anyone on an injury report, you just don't play him.
Well, the Eagles did the same thing. Hurts, they said he got injured in the Dolphins game. They said it during the week that he's dealing with some injuries. He's not on any injury reports for Philadelphia.
Interesting.
Should be, but he's not. And of course, we saw how that game turned out with 10 flags to 0. So the NFL obviously doesn't care what the Eagles do at this point. They murder a man. No one would care.
But I don't know. I think the Falcons are going to somehow, through 8 weeks, be 5-3.
And that's awesome, dude. I love
This
Desmond
is
Ritter.
sweet,
So I'm
dude.
excited for it.
Yeah, the battles that we have had with our family about Desmond Ritter.
I made a bet with one of our brothers that Ritter would be the better quarterback coming out of that class in 5 years.
I actually, funny enough, talking to Dad, I was sitting there talking with him, and he said I was crazy, but I told him I felt like the best prospect for long term, I felt like was Desmond Ritter.
I agree.
I felt like he was, and dude, he just has never let me not forget how crazy he thinks I am about that. But
I was telling him the same thing during
I know,
the
trust
season.
me, I know, because every time I said something like that about Desmond Ritter, he'd be like, "Just you and Roman think this dude's so good, and he's not."
Well, he was. I mean, he's better than the alternative right now.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, Malik Willis,
dude. I don't get me started on that guy. He's Vince Young. He's Vince Young.
He's Achilles Smith.
Dude, I watched that guy throw into too many triple coverage freaking throws that, like, he's Vince Young, man.
Yeah. I haven't been impressed with him. I don't know. I'm excited for the game. Like, if I get a chance to watch some, I will, because I like that Falcons team.
Dude,
I don't hate the Falcons. That's the team
That's
I
good.
don't hate.
That's good.
Yeah, see?
It's because they've been bad long enough to where
Yeah.
you just don't care.
No, they've always had players I enjoy watching. Michael Turner. Before that, Mike Vick. I mean,
So we got 2 teams you don't hate.
I don't hate the Titans.
How can you hate the Titans right now? It's like
what is there to hate about?
it's like hating the Lions when they were just the worst team in the NFL for a long time.
Well,
it's
and if you hate the Titans, Vrabel might fight you, and I don't think I can take that, man. But I'm pretty sure I could take some of the other coaches.
That's fair.
Probably not Mike Tomlin. I don't want to tell him I hate the Steelers, but
that's fair. That's fair. No, yeah, I'd be pumped to see the Falcons 5-3 after this weekend.
Heck yeah.
Speaking of Eagles,
yeah,
Eagles Commanders.
F those guys.
Do you hate those guys?
No, our cousin's a Commanders fan, so
I've always kind of rooted for the Commanders because Jake is always.
I always kept up on him for him because, he'd want to talk about them.
Dude, do you see freaking what Chase Young did, or something?
Yeah.
Just be able to talk up the Commanders with him.
He would always want to ask questions, so I had to know something about his team so that I could talk with them about it.
Yeah, they were disappointing last week.
They were.
Sam Howell was disappointing last week.
I see this being another disappointing game.
I do too. The Eagles playing
the
Eagles, it's not the game to right the ship.
No, it's not. And the Commanders have some talent on that D line, so maybe they cause Hurts, a couple errors, but I don't see the Eagles struggling too much with this game.
No, not at all. Not at all. And then we finally move into the afternoon games. Browns, Seahawks. I wanted to say Cardinals. Browns, Seahawks.
Pretty sure Deshaun Watson is out again.
Which means they have a chance to win.
Yeah, of course. Without Deshaun Watson, they're going to win.
And Seahawks are a weird 4-2 because they haven't been that great and have just somehow won games.
Yeah, and I
hate the Seahawks. I found a team I hate.
That's good.
They kicked our ass in the Super Bowl, and I've had to hear from every single Seahawks fan on the planet on how dumb it was that we got. Yeah, makes me hate them.
It's fair. They swindled you guys.
So I might be a little
I
biased.
mean, you gave up like 4,500
but I
draft
also
picks.
don't care. I also don't like the Browns.
I don't care for the Browns either.
I just don't give a crap about that team.
I-
This is one of those games where I don't even think I'll ever turn on.
No, I won't turn it on. I think Seattle wins.
I can
To be honest with you,
Sure.
Seattle's at home, notoriously good home team.
You guys may need to tell us how this game goes.
We're gonna need somebody to fill us in.
We might need some help.
If you're a Seahawks or Browns fan, please just let us know what happens.
Yeah, let us know if it was a great game.
But I think
Go with Seahawks.
I'm going Seahawks. I mean, Pete Carroll's a great coach. Who knows? Maybe Myles Garrett decides to
be a monster.
4-point stance over the entire line again.
Dude, he is a freak of nature.
He is crazy. But yeah, I'm going to Seahawks.
Cardinals, Ravens. Kyler Murray's practicing,
Yes.
but not playing.
Not yet. So I think his 21-day window opened
Okay.
for him to be active.
This is another, I think, blowout. The Ravens seem to have righted the ship with their offense.
Yep.
And yeah.
I don't see many redeeming qualities from the Cardinals.
No.
They could challenge Carolina for the worst team in the league here. I mean, if maybe Kyler comes back, things change, but I doubt it.
Go draft a quarterback. Go draft Caleb Williams.
So that they can continue to be what they are.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think the Ravens take it hands down. It's going to be an ugly game for the Cardinals fans.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's at Arizona, so it sucks for them.
That sucked for them for a while. But
yeah.
Speaking of sucking, Chiefs Broncos.
What do you think?
Dude,
the Broncos going to win?
No, I need you to say it. I will say one of our only actual good games we played was against the Chiefs, weirdly enough.
Yeah, it was like 13-19 or something.
Yeah, some crap. Our defense all of a sudden decided to figure it out. Do we finally beat Patrick Mahomes? Is the question. No,
you don't.
You can. I was building that up.
I don't even think you get close.
We don't have Kareem Jackson to kill someone.
I saw today that he's been suspended or fined in every game.
I think everyone but one.
Yeah.
I think there was one that
maybe one.
He appealed. Only has a 2-game suspension now.
Yeah. Well, you have to learn. Like Harrison Smith was talking about it the other day. He's like, I didn't like the rules when they came out, but you have to adjust your game. What it is now.
Yeah.
Players can play longer. It's not a 3-year career anymore.
Do you know the problem with us playing the Chiefs is everything, but
all of it? The fact that you're playing the Chiefs?
Is the fact that it feels like all of a sudden their offense figured things out.
Yep.
Which is terrifying. Dude, this could be so ugly. Who knows? Maybe we get our first win against the Chiefs. We could have some hope.
Is Taylor Swift coming?
I hope not.
If she is, I'm taking Travis Kelce.
That's fair. That's understandable.
I don't think the Broncos get a win. The more I think about this game, I'm like, this is another 30-point game, and the Chiefs' defense is pretty dominant. So
maybe they get lazy,
and they can. And
this is a trap game for the Chiefs.
The Kansas City Chiefs' offensive line is not very good,
and we have an incredible pass rush.
Yeah, Nick Bonito.
Dude, we got Baron Browning back.
Baron Browning's back,
which is exciting. Actually,
Bonito is
actually exciting.
Baron Browning's a solid pass rusher. He's young. Bonito's was probably the second best pass rusher in his draft class.
And he's starting to kind of figure it out.
So I mean, you could make Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable for sure. I
don't know if he's ever been uncomfortable against us.
His brother shows up to games, so he's been uncomfortable.
Do you think he sees that he's playing the Broncos and just gets the best night of sleep to ever happen to him?
Probably. I mean, he just knows he's going to Denver, so I mean,
Like you talk about just getting your ass beat and owned. Like they talk about Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I hate the Chiefs so much
Another team you
because
hate.
they own us.
Yeah,
They're in my division.
they're your
Of course, I
daddy.
hate every team in my division. I'm a true fan. I just want to see them all burn. You know, get get 2 wins each because they just fight each other, which would be great. It's not going to happen because the Chiefs are the freaking Chiefs.
Yeah, for a while.
It's been an awful 6 years.
7 years.
Well, dude,
Six, whatever it is.
Whatever.
A while.
Yeah, I don't know. Do any of you guys have hope that we could finally beat Patrick Mahomes? Is it like the curse of the Bambino?
Will Kansas City cover the spread?
No.
They usually don't.
No. Take a no on that.
It depends what it is. If it's 10 points, I would take the over. Anything over 10 points would worry me a little bit.
Listen, I'm going to have a little bit of faith as a Broncos fan. We're going to not get blown out.
I think you guys are going to score like 2 to 3 touchdowns.
Who knows? Maybe our offense figures it out and our defense figures it out, and we put together one complete game, and this is the game, and we finally beat freaking Patrick Mahomes.
You could.
There you go.
We're
going to move on from there, and
Broncos beat the Chiefs 100%. He's calling it.
And if they don't, you didn't hear it from me.
I want everyone to comment on the video if he doesn't.
Okay, our last afternoon game. I told you there's like 2. Bengals Niners.
It's pretty plain. I hear Sam. I saw Sam Darnold's in line to start
because I don't think Purdy's been cleared from concussion.
Purdy and Debo are both out,
which is terrifying for the Niners.
It's not good for them.
They lose last week. They played the Vikings.
They got beat by the Vikings.
I'm pretty sure
Kirk Cousins had his best game.
It's been a long week.
It's been a busy week at work. Sorry, guys. It's almost Friday. Tomorrow, when this comes out, it'll be Friday. But it's Thursday for us, and it has been a long week.
Yeah.
But I think the Bengals win.
Really? I guess if Sam Darnold's playing,
I actually think the Niners win.
They do have every really good player.
I think Joe Burrow is going to get sacked 6 times.
That wouldn't be surprising at all. No.
I think he's going to be uncomfortable.
And the Bengals are 3-3, and they have been ugly compared to what we expected. So
yeah, I expect the Niners to win.
But this could be one of those games that maybe it helps them get back on track without having Brock Purdy. They have Sam Darnold. But Sam Darnold also looked solid in the preseason for the Niners.
Yeah. Shanahan's a good coach.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold has been in New York and had help.
It's hard to bet that the Bengals are going to beat the Niners with the way they're playing right now. So, yeah. Sunday night, we got Bears versus Chargers. And as of right now, Badgett is looking to starting his second game.
Bears are going to win.
Which is putting a really weird dilemma in Chicago right now.
Sunday Night Football, Badgett's going to win. Beat the Chargers.
I mean, I'm not betting against you. You called it last week.
It actually scares me to try and say that. The Bears line's not. They played better last week. They lined it. They actually didn't.
They actually had a simple game plan. It's crazy how that helps a young quarterback.
The Chargers have Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, and Khalil Mack had 4 sacks week 1?
Something like that.
Hasn't been heard from since. Might be a game where one of those guys pop off for 4 sacks.
Or does Deontay Foreman pop off for the Bears?
That could happen too.
Yeah, I don't know.
I really want Badgett to win so much. And if they protect him, he can.
This is Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I don't know who made the schedule this year, but they suck. I don't know why they scheduled.
Didn't we play the Bears on Thursday Night Football? Man, these have been some awful primetime games.
Most of the primetime games this year have been not good matchups.
No.
A couple of them have been good, like the Eagles, Dolphins, great primetime matchup. Bills, Tampa Bay is not bad for Thursday night. kind of get you a warm up for
But
the
then
weekend. But
and then tomorrow or Sunday or Monday, wow, we got the Raiders. Shut up. The Raiders Lions, which should not be a good game.
yeah, it shouldn't be. I hope Detroit gets back
Man,
on track.
I hope Detroit comes back pissed.
I do too. Is Garoppolo still out? Probably.
I don't know.
Caught
I don't pay much attention to the Raiders.
an STD from a stripper, porn star, whatever he's dating nowadays.
Something like that. He's
Probably.
in Vegas.
Yeah. Watch out for that.
You never know in Vegas.
No, you don't. But it doesn't come
I
back.
thought it was supposed to stay there.
But
yeah, I hope Detroit comes out pissed.
I do too. And that Raiders offense is just so bad. Like
It's rough.
so Detroit
Another week closer to McDaniels getting fired.
another week closer, Tampa Bay. Sorry, I was shaking. My dog is licking the stand. He's a weirdo. But there's no way Detroit doesn't win this game.
That caught me off guard so bad.
I looked over and I was like, what the hell? Freaking idiot.
Oh man. Yeah, I think the Lions come out pissed and have a great game. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think this week could be a lot funner than last week. That's
Yeah, there's a couple of good, like Cowboys Rams, good game. Vikings Packers could be a good game. Saints
Colts could be a good game.
Could be a good game.
Yeah. Chiefs Broncos.
Chiefs Broncos could be a good game. Titans Falcons could be a good game depending on Will Levis. Jaguars Steelers could be a good game. Like there's actually some good
Could be some really competitive games.
yeah, some great games to watch this week.
So
There's a couple that'll be boring, like Ravens Cardinals. I don't know, it's two birds, so who knows?
yeah, that's about all we got going for that game.
It's about all we got for that game.
So, but overall, I think this week's gonna be a good week to watch football and hoping we beat Mahomes.
Keep open.
Thanks.
But-
I think I got about all that's left for Bronco Nation.
Broncos Nation.
Let's ride.
Dying inside.
Ugh.
But let's hear from you guys. Like what are your teams? Is there anybody you want to hit for us to hit more on, talk more on? Like we're more than happy to expand on some games.
Yeah, 100%. We're just this is one of those things we learning as we go, especially with our audience and things like that, and makes it easier when our games are kind of separated, Dolphins and Broncos, so that I'm able to catch a lot more of the early games. He catches a lot more of the later games, things like that. So, yeah, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.